The arena is ready. The challenge is set. But only the executives know the rules, and they're not here to play nice.
I'm standing inside the arena, our high-stakes boardroom, where the air feels charged, like a storm is about to break. In moments, the judge and the Hello AI collective executives will take their seats. Soon after, the innovators will walk through those doors. And when they do, nothing will ever be the same.
The host steps into the spotlight, trailed by a judge whose reputation can make or break careers, and 3 executives armed with a challenge that could change everything.
I'm excited to see the AI challenges that we're facing today.
Extremely enthralled.
Solutions.
How you feeling?
Solutions.
Pretty cool. I'm quite excited to see how it's going to go.
Yeah.
We have exciting students coming and presenting their ideas. I'm sure they're going to give each other tough competition, and they're going to come up with a pretty cool solution to your problems. What problem did you think about? What do you think you're going to ask them?
So I think the problem is that the expectation with AI that it's all singing, all dancing up here, when in reality I think for a lot of businesses AI problems are down here at the bottom. And if we think about it, we have more systems than ever, we spend more time communicating, we have more data, more incoming data, more communication. So we've asked the students to think of a solution that helps businesses move between departments easier. So how do we reduce time on trying to find the right data? How can we set up triggers? How can we set automations around that? And ultimately, how can we get customers and consumers what they need quicker from us? And if we can do that, then we can start building on those strong foundations from there. Would you agree, Nick?
I completely agree. I think the biggest challenge I see in the businesses that I speak to on a regular basis is access to accurate data. There's so many different programs, different tools that businesses are using, different information, not always available. Just keen to see what solution they come up with to try and help that for in a real world environment, how they can really support and improve access to data on a regular basis.
What's your thoughts, Rosanne?
I think you used the term earlier on simplification. I think that's one of the things that AI is most valuable in, is actually creating that simplified platform. And if they can find a solution that actually drives unification and simplification across those data sets, I think they will have come up with something that's a winner.
Rob?
One of the key things I'm looking for is that they come up with a solution that is usable, that will actually last once it's been embedded, adopted properly, in order, because we know solutions get put in all the time, and if they don't work easy, they don't work and they get stopped using. So I'm keen to see where they go on that.
Yeah, I want to see from the human side is, I think I've worked on quite a lot of projects that have ultimately failed at the end because we as humans don't like change. I don't want to use a new system. I don't want to change the way I work. I don't want to learn to have to do something new. So how do we build something that's native, thinking around all the different tools we have at the moment? And it'd be quite nice to see the focus on the human side of it.
And I think alongside that simplification, what we really want to be able to do is have businesses be able to really enhance their revenue streams, and part and parcel of that simplification, not just for the internal use, is also for that external use, and making sure that customers want to use the product and get what they need as quickly as possible.
So growing on the usability side of things, it'd be good to understand if they've really got the brief on how that is to be used throughout the business. So they've translated the human wish at the beginning, which was the objective that Dan set, and been able to understand that through all the levels of the business so that the adoption is fully understood by all users that pick it up.
The doors open and the innovators step into the arena. Their ideas, their courage, their future, all about to be tested under the brightest lights and the sharpest eyes.
Hey everyone, my name's Dan Boyles. I'm the founder of the Hello AI Collective. It's a boutique AI consultancy agency, and we help businesses kind of understand taking AI from an idea right through to delivery. And we focus on everything from design, implementation, security, strategy, scaling, and then compliance as well. I'm joined by a couple other people in the room, so I'll pass you over to Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob Fawcett. I'm the founder of the Human CTO. My organisation is designed to help leaders translate everything they need from their business requirements all the way through to the tech teams.
Hi, my name is Nick Taylor. I work for Lenovo Solutions and Services Group. We work with businesses of all sizes to help their businesses transform digitally by offering professional services, advanced services, as-a-services solutions, which includes our TrueScale offering and sustainability services.
Hi everybody, my name is Rosanne Kincaid-Smith. I'm a global technology leader and I've spent more than 20 years working at the intersection of technology, data and analytics and finance. And most recently, I've led an AI company to grow and scale GPU-based infrastructure to bring AI to life.
Hi everyone, my name is Nadine Bersales. I have over 10 years of experience as quality assurance, and I'm also a certified Scrum Master, and currently I'm one of the software automation students at LSET.
Hi everyone, my name is Koye Adeyeye. I'm a cybersecurity solicitor at a corporate law firm in London, and I specialise in incident response. So that's from data breach, could be a small, medium-sized entity, could be a large corporate international company. We advise them on international data breaches, legal notifications and communications to individuals as well.
Hello everyone, my name is Vikash. I have around 17 years of experience into IT and entrepreneurship. I worked with Google as well as a partner and to provide a street view as an agency. I had a team of for about 10 to 12 people as well. And then I moved out to UK and I started learning about Lloyd's of London insurance market, and I joined in as an QA there. And now I'm enhancing my skill as an AI, into AI as well as into quality assurance automations, and I joined this institute LSET. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Bank. Now I'm a lecturer in criminology and criminal justice and cyber investigation. I'm a lecturer in the Royal Police Cadet Academy. Now I'm here in London to join LSET in the threat intelligence analysis.
So the problem I want you to think about today is all about focusing on real problems that businesses face when they start using AI. So the challenge I want you to do today, we're going to give you 60 minutes to think about something, but I want you to focus on real problems that most businesses we work with face. Every single one of us here in this room have faced this problem at some point, either in our own companies or with our partners' companies. And it's the fact that we deal with too many different departments, we deal with too many different tech stacks, too many different ways of communicating. How can we simplify that down? Just almost like a simplification / automation problem. So the problem is, I want you to build a solution that improves handovers between departments. So for example, it could go from sales to operations, from operations to post-sales, from post-sales to support. And how do we streamline that? So we can look at things as how can AI capture context from email systems, from Teams, from CRMs, from data systems? How can we use it to create handover packs? So automatically create packs that are impactful between departments. So for example, how do we move someone from pre-sales on something that's been quoted to sales? The big problem is, how do people find the right information? How do we streamline that down? So many tools we can use in AI around there. How do we reduce time wasted? An incredible fact is if we could save 12 minutes a day, that's 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week over an entire working year, that's 48 working hours. That's an entire working week we can save ourselves through one simple use of AI. So your key is to really go out there and try and think about that. So the problem we have, we need to stop wasting time. We need to make data more accessible and easy to find for people, and use AI to auto-generate information to be able to pass through to the next departments. Does that make sense? Cool. Look forward to seeing it.
Cool. I think, especially with AI, I think obviously it's very relevant now, but I think there are a lot of risks and cybersecurity risks that we'll need to think about. But I'm excited, looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I have a little one question around it. Like when you say that sales, business operations, handovers, this is the entire universe which we are talking about a problem. So we have to understand like what kind of handovers you would like to happen, just within the sales, just within the operations, sales and operations handovers like that.
Nick works for a global business, right? And as you discussed, actually cross-departmental work and the challenges around there. So what information do you think would be key for the challenges to kind of look at on there? What do you face day-to-day challenges?
For me, it's we have so many different organisations within a large business, and getting access to accurate information when we need our fingertips in order to influence decisions that we make real time when we're in front of partners and or customers, and to how that will affect the business outcomes that we're trying to drive with our customers. The biggest challenge that we find is is the access to that data. We're making sure it's accurate. We have so many different systems running simultaneously, and quite often spitting out different results for the same request.
I think another answer for you there, maybe to have a think about and to get the juices flowing a little bit in terms of the solution that you can build, is segment it. Right, segment your answers. Put yourself in terms of, as you mentioned from your entrepreneurship, is if you're selling something, what happens after that? What is all the information that you need to pass to the next team, i.e. what's been sold, the details around that product, what's been agreed? Actually, is there technical work, is there engineering work that needs to go into it? If you go from a post-sales perspective, i.e. If you're doing help desk ticketing, or if you're kind of solving problems for customers after the sale, actually how does a salesperson find that information on there? So we need to understand the context of the data. Almost segment the data out as well. Think of each department as its own separate company that's completely separate, but they need to understand it. And a big thing I do want to focus on is the creation of the handover packs between departments. So you think, when we onboard a customer, how can we use AI to generate all the boring stuff that we have to do with it? The stuff that's repetitive. We need customer information, we need contact information, we need brands, we need agreements, we need contracts, we need NDAs, we need all the other stuff from there. Then when it goes to a sales team, how, once we finish the sales engagement, can we brand all of that in one little pack afterwards, and how can we use maybe an agent or an AI solution to do that?
Don't forget the customer experience, and the customer in this situation are the employees within the organisation. So a good area to start from is think about the journey that they'll have. Imagine there's no technology at all, and you have humans walking room to room to room, handing over what's required for the next room to pick up and do their job, then collecting it, handing it over to the next room. So imagine all the departments, like Dan said, from the sales all the way through to the support, with all the period, the operation, the engineering in the middle. Do not forget though that keep it human-centered. AI is there to improve on the human side of this, drive them efficiencies for the people. Okay.
Actually, I was just going to offer a slightly different perspective to all of that, and just the way that I've thought about the problem is actually, if you were buying this product, what would you like to experience as the customer? Because generally the internal process is being flawless, and the reason that you would undertake a piece of work like this is to create that flawless flow of information. What would you be experiencing as a customer? How would you, if you called up support, want to be treated as a customer? Would you like your information to come up quicker? That requires a seamless internal process. And how is AI really going to underpin that? And we know data is king in this process and in all of the applications around AI, particularly internally. But if you think of yourself as the customer buying a product from Hello AI, how would you like to experience that company, and what would you need to do to reshape the processes to have that experience?
Adding on to that as well, really, really good point, is that ultimately I just want my life to be easy, and our consumer life is light years ahead of where we are in our business life. So in our consumer life, I can go onto ChatGPT, I can use any AI system anywhere, I can ask it to do something I can't. And ultimately that's what AI truly is for me. It makes you good at something you're not good at. So if you think about it, every single person has their own weaknesses when it comes to work, but what does a customer want? Me as a customer, I want to go onto something, I want to type my information and get what I want straight away. If I can talk to it naturally, and that's why I love AI so much, is I can use custom GPT bot, I can build something, or I can just use ChatGPT and ask a question, put it on a certain amount of data, and it gives me an answer back. I can interrogate it as a human being. It's like an intern that follows me around and I can ask it what I need. That's what I want to get out of the challenge. Is if you put yourself, the frustration is how, as Nick just said, how do I find the right stuff in the right time with the right data? Well, wouldn't it be great if we can just converse to it naturally? So remember I said about the segmenting thing? Imagine if you could have a staff member that's made from AI in each department, and they have one sole job and they do one thing very well, and that one thing is to alleviate the amount of legwork that you have to do to pass it on to the next department. Yeah? And as Rob mentioned, the human piece on this is massive. Well, it's the reason people don't change mobile phones, it's the people don't change where they shop, they don't change behaviour, is that we don't want to disrupt too much stuff. You know, I've worked on large-scale implementations and large-scale transformations where it's failed because people don't understand the technology. I've done it this way for so many years, why do I need to change? Well, you need to change because it's going to save you X amount of time. It's going to make X amount of more money for you on your targets. There has to be the human side on there. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with in 60 minutes, and yeah, shout if you need some help.
And make sure that you utilize all the knowledge that you have acquired so far. So to without giving you the answer, I just wanted to help you out a little bit from the implementation point of view. So think about data is scattered across the systems. So think about distributed system. Dan also talked about agentic AI. So think about agents. Can you think about agents? Can agents do something within the system? How can you configure these agents to do this joint operation? As you say. Also think about the resources that you're going to need. There is a data transfer process you need to implement. Will you apply ETL or will you apply ELT to get data from one source to the other? Whether you need to do that or not, that's another question. But if you do need to do something like that, then think about that. Also think about the cloud platforms, whether you're going to utilize the cloud platforms in this process or not. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. So you want to think about the solution which already exists and how can you improve that solution based on the knowledge that you have acquired so far. So these are the elements will help you to come up with the answers or one answer. Here we go. The moment we step out there, the pressure becomes real. I have seen brilliant minds crumble under this heat, and I have seen underdogs rise like champions. Which will it be today?
Every second matters. Every decision counts. The arena waits for no one.
Okay. Right, should we discuss the briefs that we've just been given?
Yeah. So let me share it with you. So this is the progress bar that I made. That I think will help our idea to present to the judges.
Okay.
So first off, of course, a sales agent will talk to the client via calls or emails.
Yeah.
And then AI could analyze the calls and emails and extract the data that will help the sales agent to recommend products that will fit the client's needs.
Okay.
And then the AI could also capture the client details based from calls and emails and then generate that and add it or upload that on the system.
Okay.
And then once it's done and confirmed, the sales agents can go ahead and generate the order summary and send invoice and the onboarding document to the client. So the onboarding document will have the different form fields depending on the products that they ordered. And then the onboarding document will also have the contracts based on their order. And then once client accomplished the onboarding document and paid the invoice, the system will trigger the account setup creation. So if they ordered 3 products or 5 products, then 5 accounts will be created by the system automatically.
And then, so is there can you give an example, the 3 products that they might order?
Yeah, so for example, they ordered a website for their property that's based in London or based in Croydon. So each property will have their own websites. So that's 2 website order. That means they need to create, the system will create 2 accounts that will have the logo details, address information, contact information, floor plan details. And then after that, once the account setup has been completely created, a ticket, if a ticket is required to create in the Salesforce or in the Jira or any other system that will notify the next receiving team, then that's going to be created as well by the system.
Cool.
There's a training environment wherein clients can play around the new product that they have ordered, and if there's any problems or if the clients need some adjustment, then this is the time that they could inform the team about it.
At the very same time, across the arena, another story is about to unfold. In a separate room, Team 1 steps into their battlefield, unaware of the storm brewing next door. They carry the same challenge, the same ticking clock, but a completely different vision of how to solve it. This is not just a competition against the problem, it's a silent duel with their rivals. Every choice here will decide whether they rise as visionaries or vanish in the shadow of defeat.
That cold lead, just mention as cold lead, one pointer.
Okay, the goal lead.
So first cold lead, and then just mention over here, tele customer.
Tell the customer.
Okay, tele customer care and sales executives. Then it goes to the warm lead, then hot lead.
Okay, it's getting intense. The innovators are deep in strategy mode, but the clock is ticking, and one wrong move could cost them the win.
Okay, so why don't we just get together a kind of mind map really of what we're gonna discuss. So
for Team 2, every second feels heavier than the last. The window to refine their vision is closing fast. The challenge has pushed them to the edge. Pressure blurs focus, and the fear of unfinished ideas lingers in the air. But the clock doesn't care, it keeps moving. With minutes left, they have no choice but to lock their strategy and trust in their instincts. The arena waits, and the judges will show no mercy.
which basically will then mean that we can do it in a way where accounts can see certain information, which, for example, engineering might not be able to see. So instead of avoiding a situation where the engineering team can see the finance information, etc., which isn't really relevant to them, we can basically kind of segment it in that way where, depending on their role, will dictate the kind of information that they see. I'll just do least privileged access. So the standard is that every user that has not got a certain role associated with them will have the least, will be able to access the least amount of information, basically.
So for our MVP, what I am feeling like, if we start with the sales, because that's every business starts with the sales.
Meanwhile, across the arena, the countdown grows louder. For Team 1, the room feels smaller with every tick of the clock. Ideas collide, tempers flare, and clarity is harder to find. The challenge that looked simple on paper is proving to be a beast in reality. But in the chaos, sparks of brilliance emerge. One idea, one bold pivot could turn the tide. The question is, will they seize it before time runs out?
A bit of interest, and then we can convert it into a hot leads. So every single bot will work on that, and they will analyze that what the customer is needing at the moment, why customer is getting cold calls, why they are not responding, what are the areas. Those bots will start representing themselves, and they start learning with each other that what is the cause problem of it. And then this bots can analyze things that where we are lacking in our business, particular business.
This is it, the final showdown. The teams are about to present to a panel that can spot weakness in seconds. Let's see who survives and who sinks. It's time now. Let's see what our student innovators have to say.
The moment of truth has arrived. After hours of strategy, debate, and relentless pressure, Team 1 now steps into the arena. This is more than a presentation. It's their chance to turn raw ideas into a winning solution. Will their vision stand tall under fire or crumble under the weight of the arena?
But we don't have time to define the problems and to talk to the staff in the company. So we think that we must focus on the sales, which is the most important part of the company. So we come up with the sales funnels, and Vikash gonna talk about the sales funnel.
Thank you. So what we have thought of it as we discussed that on that time, like the sales part and how the handovers will happen to the other departments and how we are going to exchange things. So we just picked it up from the start. Sales is everything, right? Every business starts with the sales first. And in sales, we have a cold call first in a sales funnel, and then we have a warm call, and then we have a hot call. So hot leads. So what they have their own customer care people, they have sales executive to make it to from cold call to warm call to hot lead. So let me explain you a bit about it. So for that, like we have a cold call leads, the customer care and the sales representative connected. So they call the person, they said, yes, we are interested. We'll talk about later. We'll talk about few days later. It becomes a warm. They show a little bit of interest of the lead. And then they said, okay, yes, we have done the negotiation and everything. Now we like to go ahead with and buy the product. So for example, in this case, what we are going to use machine learning models, creating AI. This machine learning model, for example, will create a bot for that. So cold call will have their own bot system. Let's say, let's put up a name, Adam. And then there is another guy called Alex, another bot, AI ML based. And there is another bot called Neo. So what they are going to do, and we are using AWS Cloud for that. And this one, all the data will go here. And now this what this Adam does, he will speak to the why sales is not happening. Customer care made like 10 calls and 15 calls or 20 calls. Out of that, only 10 responded. Why other are not responding? What are the cause root of that? We need to identify that. So this bot's responsible for that. This bot itself will identify what is a lack. Is there sale pitches missing? Are they not able to sell it? What are the root cause of it? Is there a problem in the product? So this is what this bot will do and identify. Same ways. Alex do the same thing. They analyze in the
Team 1 takes their shot. Their voice is steady, their arguments layered with data and determination. Every sentence is crafted to persuade, every slide a bid for victory. They push hard to convince, weaving logic, creativity, and ambition into one story. But beneath the calm faces of the panel, calculations are being made. Strengths, weaknesses, blind spots, nothing escapes their scrutiny. For Team 1, this is the moment that defines their journey. But will their solution hold firm under the judge's pen or collapse in silence?
Product team will have their own suggestion of that, why it is happening. You are lacking out into a product. That's why people are not interested in that. Pricing team will have their own things and they will say your price is too high, your price is too low. And this is what it is happening. So this is what we have come up with the solution right now.
Your bots are doing gap analysis.
Correct.
But they're only doing negative gap analysis, or they're going to do positive gap analysis. They're doing both. Because I think it's the what did you do right to close as well as what's doing wrong. Otherwise, you're just going to be chasing gap closing rather than actually harnessing where things are going well. The other thing that I'm assuming is being done here, but I think will be quite valuable in a solution like this, is your customer segmentation. And I've got one other question. Why AWS for your cloud?
The first real test arrives. A tough question, sharp and direct. The kind that cuts through rehearsed answers and forces the team to think on their feet. In this moment, hesitation could cost everything.
Cloud agnostic as well. So instead of using AWS, you can use a tool which can help you to deploy to multiple clouds, like for example Terraform. So that way, you don't have to log into one of the cloud providers. You can switch in between them. So yeah, certainly. So that will help. Great.
Thanks for that. I love it. I think this is really good, because what you're doing is you're hitting the problem is ultimately how can we sell more, and that's actually it's a really hard problem. But if a customer comes to me and say, how can I sell more using AI, it's like, well, we can streamline your processes, but you've identified the opportunity to focus on why you're winning it and why you're not winning it. I've only started just tracking why I win business. I've always focused on the negative side, so to echo Rosanne's side, it's like, what did I do right on this? Because we can double down on that, and if we can use AI to streamline it. I loved what you said around you're not on script, you're not using the right script, because one of the big things I put down on my kind of solution for this was contextual capture. So capture the context of what's happening throughout the things. I think a lot of us would agree that we just say things for the sake of saying it, and we don't have time. We spend more time online than we do it on calls, right? So when we're speaking to people, if we have a tool that can analyze the context of what we're saying, it can analyze what we're saying to people, and then provide back, you've kind of hit nail on the head there a little bit. And if it can then go on further than that and have triggers where it can auto-generate a whole pack of this and pass it on to the post-sales team, then you're on to a winner. I also am going to challenge, like you said, my recommendation for most stuff is to put it into Azure and OpenAI, just because obviously OpenAI and Azure, it's hand-in-hand partnership. Most businesses do use, I'm an Azure fan.
Yeah.
I'm an Azure fan.
I get it.
On-prem is Nirvana. If we can get on-prem for everything, because you have complete ownership of all your data, you don't have to worry about customer data, compliance. Rob can talk about that as well. But yeah, my criticism would be make it agnostic as much as possible, because the change piece will be hard. If you say you created this and you put it into the market and everyone's like, brilliant, I don't use AWS.
Exactly.
People are not going to use it. It's the same way that if I create something on Claude, I love Claude to build. I think Claude is absolutely great. If I try and take that to anyone, people are going to be like, I don't use that. Is it GPT? Is it Copilot? Is it OpenAI? How can I integrate that in? So that'd be on there. Chaps, anything from you, Rob? From the human side, I think it's great as a sales tool.
It is from the sales tool. Have you had any thoughts about how it feeds back to the actual agent? How it feeds back to the individual? How is it talking to them? Have you put any thought into that yet? Don't worry if not. But
We did. So once that connected to the cloud system, which Mayur said about it, so we will convert it into those terabyte or something like that. So we can get off with the not dependent on the AWS alone. So these bots are basically a plugin kind of a thing. So whether the companies are using SAP or Salesforce, any application they are using it, so these bots can be integrated with their current system, so they don't have to replace their own systems. Our application is separate application connected to all these their own system applications, and our application will respond what we are asking for it. So there will be a pop-ups which will be saying, sales guys, your lead is cold. Sales guys, your script is backing on. Your product team will get there. Product is there are some problems in the product. There is a good side of it, there is a bad side of it. So these bots will work along that. So they will get a clear communication where the AI is connecting to the particular team in that.
Human can check and can reassure that the context or the things that the AI give is the correct one, and we do the feedback loop and to check whether which is right or wrong, or it is good or bad knowledge that will go back to the AI and train it again. So we do not exclude human and staff out of this AI.
Two things. Auto triggering is a massive thing. How do we use the systems we built? So if you had a trigger that every time you lost a deal or it moved from warm to lost, actually it generates an email, generates conversation, generates something alongside that, a trigger. At the end of the month, if you've hit target, great. If it can then take that information, understand the context and go, Vikash, great, here's why you hit target this month. You did this, you used the script, you tied it into this process, you followed up everything on there. And if it can converse, or that's the word, in the opposite of that, if it can come through and tell you why you didn't hit your target this month, you didn't hit your target because you went off script, you didn't say this, you didn't follow up, you didn't do X, Y, and Z. That's where it comes in. The other thing, from a consumer point of being able to use it, imagine how cool it would be if I could just go on and say, why am I not on target? Why have I lost this customer? Or in a year's time, it comes to renewal. What did the customer say about this? The biggest use I use for AI, Copilot is one of the biggest things I use day to day, just as like an assistant for me. It's being able instantly to go on and say, what did the customer say about their renewal date? And it was pull the information from whatever I have on there. So being able to use it as a sales tool, as being able to naturally talk to that information, that's where we're going to see the biggest growth, I think, for kind of like the low level usage. If you could couple that into that, you've got a really good solution there.
Yeah. And Dan and Rob, just to expand on what you have just said, one interesting thing about this solution, what I personally liked is they used share context. So their agents are communicating with each other, sharing information. So it's a good model for the newer protocol that Anthropic just launched called MCP. So if they can implement that over there so that your system or your bots can communicate with other bots, other agents, and you can build a multi-agent system very easily. So this is quite interesting, and I really liked the fact that you have added this agent-to-agent communication, and you talked about context, so that's good.
And now it's Team 2's turn to face the arena. They've watched the pressure mount from afar, knowing every second of preparation has led to this walk. For them, the challenge was a race against time, a fight to turn bold ideas into a clear, convincing solution. Will Team 2 rise to the occasion or falter under the weight of expectation?
Cool. Crack on. Look forward to hearing it.
Thank you. So, so this is First Flow. That's the name of the solution that we've come up with. So, as you all explained, and as we thought ourselves, having both worked at startups before, in our experience, we know that the onboarding process can be quite complicated, quite convoluted. You can have various teams involved, numerous people could go on holiday, information can get lost, a lot of legacy systems involved that don't all connect with each other. So hopefully the solution that we've come up with today, First Flow, will solve that. So as you can see, First Flow is a transformative AI-powered platform, and it redefines client onboarding and inter-team handovers as well. So it ensures seamless, memorable first impressions and flawless transitions as well. And so apart from just onboarding, it automates handovers to receiving teams. So for example, customer support and account management as well. And it consolidates client data, preferences, and product details into a unified, instantly accessible profile in the CRM.
And I'm gonna share the look of First Flow. So we were able to create a high-level draft of the UI wireframe of First Flow. So this is the idea. So this is what it looks like. So initially, when sales agent contact the clients, it's either via email or via phone call. So here in the First Flow web application, they can just easily add the names and emails and phone number of the client. And if it's an existing client, then their data will be auto-populated using the Fizzy Match. This is already existing technology. And so if the phone call or the email happened outside this web application, then they can just upload it, and the AI using the NLP technology, it could extract the key details, and that could help the sales agent recommend like what products will fit the client's need. So this is just like the high level draft of that. And also to explain to you what's gonna happen in the First Flow. So the idea is to make the onboarding seamless from sales to different teams or department. So initially, the conversation will happen or will start between sales agent and client, and then the AI will analyze the email or phone call and extract keywords. If the for example, client says they're having a lot of issues in the past few weeks, and then the add to cart agent could recommend having them have VIP access to the customer service team, so that they will have 24/7 support if they need it. And then through AI, it could also capture the key information through the phone and email conversation. And then the AI will upload that to the First Flow web application. And then once everything is confirmed, there's a button there that the onboarding is confirmed, or that we could proceed to the next step. And the First Flow will send a summary of the order together with the invoice in the onboarding document. So on the onboarding document is very important, because based on the order, the onboarding document will have the form fields that is needed for the products that they have ordered. So for example, they ordered websites for their properties. The onboarding document will have the form that will require for them to upload logos, logos and any other amenity photos, and description of their properties and all the needed information for the products that they have purchased. And then once that's done, once the invoice has been paid and the onboarding document has been completed by the client, then the system will detect it, and the account setup will happen. Like, it will get triggered. So if they ordered 5 products, then 5 accounts will be created. So usually what happens right now is that one of the problems is there is an account team that does the manual setup of the accounts, which is error prone, and sometimes it takes a while. There are some cases that one account can take the whole day to be set up because of a lot of the information that needs to be added on the system. So after that, once the account setup is completed, there will be an alert that it has been completed, so it will proceed to the next step, which is the product request setup. So if the product requires some tickets to be created, then that's going to be created with all the needed information of the next team. Maybe it's implementation or engineering team, so that the engineering team or the implementation team could get notified that, hey, there's a new order. Then after that, it's going to be the beta launch wherein this is the part wherein the client will get trained, and we could also integrate AI here, wherein the AI could help research for the materials that the client could use to get trained and get onboarded on the new application that they have just purchased. And then after that, once everything is done, then that's going to be the go live or the product launch. On to step 6, we've actually thought that we could also integrate AI here, wherein after like completing or setting up all the products that the client have purchased, AI could also recommend new products that could help the clients maximize the usage of the products that they just have purchased. So that's the idea. And this progress bar, we wanted to also, the idea is to also integrate this to the first flow web application, wherein everyone will have an idea on what is happening in the order. So if an account manager needs to know what's the update, then they can just log into first flow and see what's happening, and all of the tickets and information or data that were uploaded are also linked in the first in the progress bar. So that's the idea, and Koye will be sharing more information about the first flow benefits and other stuff.
Thanks, Nadine. So yeah, hopefully all of you are getting the impression now that this is meant to be seamless, it's meant to flow, hence the name. We're reducing the amount of people involved in the process. We're trying to focus on agents that can do these processes for you. So, for example, we'll have an agent that will deal with the kind of retrieval of the onboarding documents, as opposed to perhaps many people involved in it. Clients want a smooth process, they want a quick process that's done efficiently, and hopefully First Flow will allow them to enjoy a smooth onboarding and ongoing support experience, and they can feel valued and understood as well. And so this is how we envisage success. So we strongly believe that First Flow will increase onboarding efficiency by 50%.
Team 2 takes a different path. No drama, no rush, just calm, measured delivery. Their answers are sharp, their style composed, a contrast to the fire of their rivals. The question is, does this steady approach win the panel's respect, or risk being seen as too safe? In the arena, even silence from the judges can feel louder than applause.
Help us. A lot of criminals, cyber criminals, are using it to hurt businesses as well. So the first one there is RBAC, or otherwise role-based access controls. So that will essentially mean that people working with a specific role might not be able to see information that other employees with one role might see. So for example, the onboarding information, invoicing documents, maybe bank details, that information won't be able to be seen by the engineering teams, for example. It depends on the role, what information you can see. Audit logging as well, which basically means that every action taken either by AI or by a person is logged and it's written down, so you can always see what's happened where. In the event of, obviously, touch wood, there won't be any data breaches, but in that event, we'll be able to look through the logs and see exactly what's happened. With prompt injection, so we see one of the features of First Flow being, apart from all of this information basically being hosted on the Azure cloud, we see a possibility where if someone needs to know something quickly and they want to find that information, perhaps they can then enter into the platform, where can I find the client's any kind of onboarding information, where can I find the client's headquarters, for example, and then they'll add that prompt into the platform, and then it'll retrieve the information from the cloud via any API, and then they have it. Encryption, yes, very important here. So there's going to be a lot of data moving from the different agents, for example, data moving onto the cloud. There's going to be a lot of data transfers, and that means there needs to be encryption. So we're proposing encryption in transit, which is when encryption is which is when data is moving through to certain agents, and we're also having encryption at rest as well, which means any data that is stored somewhere will be encrypted specifically with an encryption code called AES256. And then lastly, data retention and compliance as well. So from a legal background as well, I know how important it is to comply with the GDPR, for example, and all sorts of regulations depending on what country the company is based in. So we will have rules, for example, meaning that certain information must be deleted after 30 days, for example, or whatever's in line with the company's internal policy.
Yeah, so that's first look.
Cool, love it. Yeah. In fact, you built a user interface demo mock-up. Or tell me how I like that. How do we interact with it? Have we got to log on to a website to interact with it, or could we potentially build it into Teams, so I could, as a Teams chat, I can just ask anything at any time? The ability to do that? Is something you thought about?
Yeah, so similar to some of you may have seen on Copilot, the way that works, and it's integrated into Teams, and similar to how other platforms integrated into Outlook as well. We're proposing to embed that into the system as well.
What I really liked about that is you compartmentalised it out, and you have full key understanding, because the biggest thing, all I do is talk to AI. That's all I do to customers. It's really hard to understand what is the actual benefit on this. So what I really like is, on the side you had up pre-sales, here's the benefits, here's what it means, here's the metrics for it. In terms of what you've done though, you identified a problem, you showed us what the tool does, the metric, don't use metrics, but the fact you understand that it ties back into that metrics and here's what it can improve. So yeah, things like a lot in the legal space, we do accuracy rates on contracts reviews, especially if you're going between any updates in any compliance or any governance or split across multiple regions. It is more accurate to use AI than it is for human, because a human has a less accuracy rate. So stuff like that, absolutely shouting about. The fact that you can tie it back into customer retention, maybe you could tie it into customer retention. Ultimately, the other stuff will lead to keeping your customers. But if I think the biggest thing is, if you can prove to any potential customer of your product, this is what it does, this is what it can impact, this is how it works. I love the security stuff. The prompt injection piece is massive. We were talking about MCP earlier on, and anyone being able to agents telling agents what to do is very bad. But it's incredible, good, but it can be very bad, because you're hoping that all of your agents are secure and can't do anything wrong. So the prompt injection stuff, data cleansing, you hit on that, that's key. Oh, sorry.
I love the fact that you gave it a name, gave it an identity. And I think one of the practical benefits to come out of this, as someone who works in sales and works with salespeople, is you've removed the need or removed the requirement for additional admin for sales. Salespeople typically do not like doing admin, removes the admin time, gets them to spend more time in front of and speaking with their customers. Really good.
So I'm going to be slightly controversial and say, by the way, great concept. For me, the product is slightly limited because it's a great solution for low touch, high volume, but I'm not so sure that it would provide the kind of depth required for something that requires a bit more high touch. That said, I tend to agree with everybody else. You really are removing a lot of the guesswork. You're helping to itemize, segment. You're making the process clear to both the customer and the salesperson, which I think is incredibly valuable. And again, also just touching on some of the things that you raised around encryption and protection of data. I think having that clear audit logging is going to make this a very easy sell to a lot of different organizations. But I would try to step it out slightly just to make sure that you can accommodate multiple sales processes and not just ones that are high volume and low touch.
I think to add on that as well, just very quickly, is that look, the problem we asked you to solve was build a solution that improves the handovers between departments, and you've done that. You've actually come and built something, or the wireframe is something that does that. It alleviates the problems on your pitch as well. You highlighted the problems, you told us what it does. A lot of businesses don't actually realise that value when they're looking at buying something, so you've shown us what it does, you've shown us the numbers that it does affect. We'll change the numbers slightly, but it shows the impact on there. And ultimately, how can we make it better just so, like Rosanne said, it just becomes more democratized and everyone can use it, and it doesn't need to be that, the high volume, because I'd use something like this to help me in my business. I actually would, because there's not many people in my business. I haven't got loads of salespeople. In terms of the capability stuff that I wanted to see on there, it was context capture, auto generation, the ability to chat into it, like I say, either chase bot or a chat bot, so being able to talk natively into it or automatically chasing things up. This hasn't been done. I need reminding. I always use myself as like a base test for any AI tool, because from a security point, I click links, I download stuff, probably going to play on multiple agents. From a user point, I forget to do things, my admin's really bad. I run a company, but it's not my strongest point. I employ people to do that, so how can I use AI to leverage it? So yeah, I definitely, it's good. You talk data, you talked around integration, you talked around the API stuff, so yeah, really impressed from mine.
Claude, wherein we just let Claude know what we wanted, the idea of the first flow AI. And since we are familiar with the problem already, when we heard the problem told to us earlier, we had a eureka moment because we are a bit familiar with the handover problems between teams. So that's what we did, and yeah, thanks to Claude.
It's interesting. You use AI to solve problems with AI.
Solution. I think with cybersecurity as well, you get the same issues that prop up quite often with role-based access controls, encryption. So I think already having a knowledge of those issues, really, it was just simply applying it to this specific scenario. So that didn't take too long either.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another interesting thing you have done over there. You used AI as well as you consider the security aspect as well, which is kind of interesting in this solution compared to the others that we have seen. We have seen two very different solutions, and now it all comes down to the judge and executives. One team will take the win. The other will walk away with some tough lessons.
I have been slowly down to the participants. So that would be my swing towards the final one, to say, well, I think that was more sophisticated thinking than the first one, but I do think the first idea was better. So draw straws.
So for me, the brief was build a solution that improves handovers between departments. The first one was really good sales gap analysis tool and helping me sell more. Budgeting it from my business now, if I was going to put one in, well, the second one did that. The first one didn't really do that. It just, from sales, from cold to warm to closed, it helped me sell more, but there wasn't really too much focus on what does that mean. Wasn't really too much focus on the second one either, but at least they had the idea and the big picture of it, going, this can help this, this can help this, this can help this, the 4 breakdowns. So for me, the second one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm probably leaning towards group number 2 as well. Two different approaches to the same problem. I think they met the brief better in the second group.
Okay, so we'll call them in.
The moment of truth has arrived. Confidence will be tested, ideas will be challenged, and only one team will claim victory.
It's not Nick. Nick's probably the person that will be most affected by this in terms of implementation to a business. That's what you do, right? Sales and flows.
Really interesting to see two different approaches to the same problem. Both definitely had practical benefits that I could use on a daily basis within my organisation and with the businesses we work with on a regular basis. I think what I liked from group number 2 in particular was the fact that you created something. It was alive. You gave it an identity and a name, so it was easy for me to kind of latch onto that. But I think both groups done very well. Given that you only had an hour to come up with a solution, we were all really impressed with what you guys worked on.
Rob, anything?
Key thing for me is both teams thought about how the users would use this, because there's no point going creating a piece of AI tech just for the sake of creating it, and it's too complicated to be used because it'll just be shelved and everyone will go back to spreadsheets, which is the whole concern. So the fact that you both put yourselves in the shoes of the users is very good from that standpoint. Well done.
I'd echo that. It's all about how can we use it. So what? You know, the phrase of "so what" when we're going to do something. Both of them they will transform some area of your sales journey, right? Both in different degrees, but that was the biggest thing. Just I'm seeing so many people waste money on solutions that aren't right for their businesses. Rosanne?
Guys, well done. When we first came in here today, we were actually talking separately and saying, given you've actually gone through quite a short course in AI, and we all work in AI, so it's sort of subject matter expertise, we thought, how deep will you go and what will you come up with? And my sort of immediate feeling was, given you've almost got a blank sheet of paper, and actually having that sort of foundational view will help you to come up with really good ideas, because you'll push the limits of your thinking, and that's what you've both done for us. Both products, we all felt, and I'm repeating what everybody said, definitely have legs. These are products that I would invest in myself and would like to see come to life. That said, there does need to be a winner today. And I hope you take the feedback that all the judges have shared with you, and the winner today is Group 2.
Just to add on to Rosanne's feedback on there is both teams are incredible. Like, I will sit with a room full of people and try and design stuff, and we miss what you did, and you solved a problem. The problem from the gap analysis point, genuinely, I looked at Rob and raised my eyebrows a bit, because I've never thought of actually from scratch going, how can I improve my business? Let's use it to monitor sales calls, sales flows, and see why I'm losing business. 60 minutes to design that. That's really cool. Like, genuinely really good. I think the danger is when we're talking AI, sometimes we're so top level, or we're thinking of all the complex stuff or all the tools, that actually that's what is helping me do something I'm not good at. So absolutely well done on that one. And from second group as well, bringing something to life in 60 minutes. I spend a day on a pitch to a customer, and it's normally a presentation and a wireframe, not to that extent, but in 60 minutes you thought the problems are fixed, you built a wireframe using AI. Genuinely really impressed.
I think both the teams did excellent job, as all the judges said already. So solution that you have presented certainly has all the elements that companies are looking for. I personally believe you do have capability of coming up with excellent solutions to the problems using AI and cybersecurity. And for the group 1, I believe cybersecurity part was a little bit missing over there. So I think we could think a little bit more on that and implement that part as well. That'd be interesting. But thank you very much for presenting the solutions to us. Oof, what a battle. We came in with pressure. We live with history. If you thought this challenge was wild, wait until you see what's coming next.
The arena never sleeps, and the next challenge could be even more unforgiving.
It was a good pitch which we have created. Yeah, we was right that we missed out on a bit of cybersecurity part. Yeah.
one challenge faced, one verdict delivered. But this is only the beginning. New companies, new battles, new innovators await. Join us in the next episode of LSET Arena, where the stakes are real and the future is on the line.